I try not to be chief impediment remover.
This is costing us money and time. Will you help me solve this problem? All right, getting a number of Scrum Masters curious about how they can remove impediments. And the Scrum Guide's kind of weird in how it says causal of removal kind of thing, but they're just getting straight to the chase and saying, hey, I've got to remove impediments and I want to know how to do it. So do we have advice for those Scrum Masters that are wanting to get rid of blockers?
It really helps to know people as a Scrum Master. And how do you get to know people? I mean, maybe start by buying them a coffee. Figure out who the players are in your organization. The other Scrum Masters, the managers, the directors, get them out to coffee. Introduce yourself. What are you about? What's your goal with Scrum? And at some point in the future, they might need your help or you might need theirs. So say, for example, an impediment comes up where Team Alpha, your team, happens to be saying that Team Beta is a real roadblock for them. They're in the way. They keep doing things that you depend on, and it takes them months and months to get the piece that you need. And so remember that manager you spoke with last week over coffee? Now's a great time to ask them to lunch. And you go out there and you say, look, I got two problems. I've got this box of donuts, and I've got this other problem that just won't seem to go away. Can you help me with either one of them? And I'm just kidding, but bribery with donuts usually helps. The main idea here is that once you've established some relationships, it's a lot easier to start asking for help from people. You've already got some context. You've got some, I guess, feelings around their positive intent, and it's a lot easier to go to them and ask for questions, or ask with questions or impediments that they can help you remove. So that's what I would do. Start building relationships, and you find more bees with honey than you do with vinegar.
That's true.
Yeah, relationship building can be a powerful tool for that. I'm reminded of a story. Sue and Jim are talking, and Sue says to Jim, Jim, it always seems like whenever I ask you a question, you don't give me a straight answer. You answer me with a question. And Jim says, do I? I find that questions are one of my strongest tools for getting impediments out of the way. And when I'm a Scrum Master, I try not to be chief impediment removal. I going back to what you said, Greg, I may cause the removal of impediments by prompting some discussions, prompting some questions, but I try not to be the person who is removing all the impediments, because I find that creates a dependency where if there's something in the way, the team doesn't apply their own creativity. They just say, oh, that's the Scrum Master's job to figure it out, and brains get shut off. And I can't figure out every impediment for organization. I like to think I'm a pretty smart guy, but I'm not that smart. I can't figure out every impediment. I need a team of diverse backgrounds behind me to think creatively through things. So I ask a lot of questions. Why is that thing in our way? Why is that policy the way it is? Have we asked if we can change it? What would happen if we did change it? Sometimes asking that questions have gotten me in trouble, but more often than not, it's driven the change that my team needed. And so, load up your brain with lots of questions, and don't be afraid to push against those walls that seem immovable. Sometimes they actually are movable.
Push the walls.
That's true. I think Scrum Masters can be easily drawn into the simple stuff that the teams themselves can resolve and take care of, and symptomatically, usually there's other things that are kind of at the foundation that are truly the issue. And you're all hinting at this. If you ask the right kind of questions, eventually you can kind of get to the core of what's really wrong. And when teams can see that, sometimes they're reluctant to want to address the actual issues. I've even seen this at the organizational level too, when Scrum Masters are they're aware that there are challenges to the value stream, either on the front end, the knowledge piece, where that knowledge is restricted. We don't have the information that we need to be able to make the decisions at the Scrum team level. And I've seen that restriction for a massive impediment on the delivery side. Like, maybe we are not allowed to release, but every 3 months or every 6 months. That's a massive impediment to our learning cycle. How can you learn if you can't get something out to your customer? So there's a number of things here that I think we we can try to put our eyes into if we're working with people in management level and leadership level. I think it's fair to bring money to the attention and time, because once the things are tied to the things that matter to them from a bottom line perspective and a return on investment perspective, they may start to interface, or start to work with you on removal of those impediments. So yes, you've got to have relationships. Yes, you have to know how to ask questions, but sometimes just bringing it down to the money. This is costing us money and time. Will you help me solve this problem? Can be an interesting way to approach it too. So there's a lot more we could say on this. We could probably do an entire series on
Impediment removal.
Yeah.
We'll throw it on our backlog. Click the thumbs up to let us know you like the video. Subscribe if you'd like more of our videos in your feed. And maybe even hit that bell to get notified when we've got more videos for you.
Sometimes YouTube notifications don't actually go out and you won't be notified. So we've solved this problem. Click the link in the description to join our exclusive mailing list so we can send you an email every time one of our newest videos comes out. You'll be glad you did.